Tonight, National Democratic Congress, the NDC, and the opposition New Patriotic Party, the NPP, take strong positions on Electoral Commission's U10 to rerun elections in 19 polling stations to determine the winner in the Ablekuma North parliamentary elections, as the NPP rejects the attempt and describes the move as bogus.
The Electoral Commission's decision to do a rerun is bogus, and which we as a party will not accept it.
Harun's argument have no place in law. It has no place in politics. Indeed, the MPP at this stage is afraid of going to an election.
We have details plus the big question about the Electoral Commission's U10. Just days after it assured Parliament there will be no rerun of the elections.
For the processes that have gone on so far, if we go back to the good people of this country that we are abolishing everything, it will not be good for our democracy.
Well, we interrogate all of these here in the next 30 minutes on Top Story, always brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Tonight, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, and the opposition New Patriotic Party, the NPP, have all taken strong positions on the Electoral Commission's fresh position to rerun elections in 19 polling stations to determine who won the Ablekuma North parliamentary elections in 2024. Now, the Electoral Commission is taking another shot, a possible last one, in an attempt to determine the winner in the Ablekuma North parliamentary elections. The Commission has, in a latest press statement today, stated that it has engaged the two major political parties, the NDC and the NPP, and has resolved to rerun the elections in 19 outstanding polling stations instead of what we all knew in the system. Now, you will recall that the EC several previous attempts to complete the coalition process to declare either Erabna Obing or Nana Ekuafriye winner proved futile, as the process was marred by violence from party supporters. Today, after a series of consultations, the EC is announcing they will make another attempt on July 11, and this time, not coalition, but a rerun. Now, we are live with all the stakeholders, surely. But first, listen to Director of Corporate Services at the EC, Dr. Bosman Asari, who assured Parliament days ago that they will not conduct any rerun of the elections in Ablekuma North when he appeared before Parliament on July 19.
The Commission strongly believes that for the processes that have gone on so far, if we go back to the good people of this country that we are abolishing everything, it will not be good for our democracy. It will not be good for our democracy. Thank you. So let's allow the process to continue. Thank you.
Well, now, my colleague James Aveji, who monitored this coalition process through and through, joins me with some details. Aveji, now first, take us back to when this coalition process started. How many polling stations were in contention and how did that travel?
Well, Brace, so this coalition process started in the early part of January when the EC tried to do this at the Greater Accra Electoral Office headquarters, or the regional headquarters of the Electoral Commission at the Greater Accra regional level. And at the time, there were an outstanding of about 92 polling stations which the EC needed to deal with. And so the process started. They were able to do, out of that, they were able to do, and at a point before the greater gridlock on the process, there were some outstanding 37 polling stations, which the NDC and the NPP could not find the pink sheets, the physical pink sheets to authenticate the results that came from those polling stations. And so the initial ones that were agreed and collated, the two parties were able to provide pink sheets to finish that coalition process. And so out of that, the NPP provided the photocopies of those pink sheets, which are digital pink sheets of those polling stations, which the EC admitted they got the returning officers from those polling stations to authenticate the figures on those digital pink sheet. And then the NDC also, because they do not have any of the copies, either the hard copy or the digital copies, they agreed on those they would agreed on, and then the EC continued with the coalition. And so, as at the time the process was suspended indefinitely, they were left with only 3 polling stations to deal with, and that was marred with controversies. The NDC at that point decided not to agree with the NPP's digital pink sheet, and so the EC got some figures, but it was difficult to use them because the the presiding officers of those 3 polling stations said they will not authenticate the figures because at that point they have received threats from either side of the parties not to go ahead with that. If not, their lives will be in danger. And so it was the refusal of the presiding officers of those 3 police stations to authenticate the results that actually stalled the whole process some 2 months ago.
Quite interesting then that there's a decision to rerun in 19, but we'll delve into that later on. Between then and today, there have been series of meetings, consultations and suggestions on how to tackle this, with the NDC and NPP taking very entrenched positions on how to proceed with this. You've been monitoring all of that.
The top of those meetings have been between the Electoral Commission, the political parties, as well as the Election Security Task Force, both under the previous IGP and the current IGP. In fact, in May 2025 was when the final meeting happened between the Electoral Commission, the political parties, as well as the police. And at that meeting, all the security agencies, including the police, the army, the prisons, and all of that, indicated their readiness to provide security for the elections, for which reason they tasked the EC to go back and provide a roadmap for the coalition process to be completed. And even in all of those deliberations, the NDC has been of the view that the remaining police stations should be rerun, but the NPP all of the time have been opposing this. They were insisting that the 3 polling stations should be completed and then the result declared. So even before today, in all of those deliberations, the 2 parties have always disagreed with each other on the clear-cut route to adopt in declaring the elections.
Now, the EC today has released a fresh roadmap in their latest statement. What are the details?
The EC indicated that those conversations have continued, and the last time they met the parties was on July 12, 2025, and that was before June 12, 2025, and that was before they appeared before Parliament. And after consultation with the parties, the EC has agreed that they will be rerunning the election in 19 out of the 37 polling stations whose results have been collated with pink sheets. The reason for according to the EC, for this rerun is because they said that, quote, the public may recall that the political party supporters besieged our coalition centers and destroyed a number of pink sheets for the Ablekuma North elections, recounting what happened on the day of the election. And they said that, quote, the NDC held the view that the election should be rerun in 37 polling stations because scanned pink sheets from 37 polling stations which were used to collate the results were provided by the NPP. The NPP was of the view that the results of the 3 outstanding polling stations should be collated and declared. Then the EC went further to say that after extensive deliberations, the Commission informed the political parties that it would proceed to rerun the elections in 19 out of the 37 polling stations. The Commission arrived at the decision to rerun the election in the underlisted polling stations because the 19 scanned polling station results used for the coalition, though approved by agents of both political parties, were not verified by the presiding officers responsible for those polling stations. It is instructive to know that the commission was able to secure the presiding officer's verification and confirmation for 18 scanned polling station results. Agents of both parties also approved same. A rerun would therefore not be held in those polling stations. The election will be held on Friday, 11th July 2025, and they count on the Ghana Police Service to provide the needed security to do that. And so that's the position of the EC after they have engaged in all of these deliberations. So
per the statement, it means that both the NDC and NPP were part of the processes to arrive at this conclusion.
Were part of the deliberations, but from the statement, this decision was taken by the Electoral Commission after these deliberations with the party. Okay. What is unclear is whether they have officially informed the parties about this and whether they have the full buy-in of the parties before issuing the statement. Well,
we can now listen to Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, who rejected the EC's move, describing it as bogus. He spoke on pause with MFA at the T a while ago.
That there is no any election from where we stand. Same was set for Domiko Abenya somewhere in December. That election never came on. Even they went ahead and used tally sheets to collate that results. We have official communication from the Electoral Commission, of which we are holding on to that. Never in any of their official communication to us and Parliament, which is the official, which is a place of record, that the Electoral Commission has indicated their inability to collate the 3 polling stations. They indicated that they needed security. How an operation of 3 polling stations be modified and increase to a 7 again? You see, I hold the letter. We wrote the Electoral Commission on the 3rd, and person at the Parliament results. And that was happening. They responded to us. They responded to us on the 7th, and in their response, they indicated that after the ruling on the 4th January, they proceeded to do a number of collations, which was done on the 5th and 8th. On the 5th of January, they did 17 polling stations. On the 5th of January, they did 6 polling stations. And on the 8th of January, they did 4 polling stations. So these were the account of which they have done. And if you put them together, and that's 34 polling stations. And the remaining polling stations were 37. So they indicated in their response to us, tentatively, all the legal collations that were done by the rulings of the courts. And then they also move ahead to tell us the efforts that they have done to complete the collation processes and what has happened because of insecurity and other matters. So they went on to tell us the current status of that particular collation system. They narrated all the incidents to us. And then in their conclusion, they told us that the Electoral Commission is ready for the completion of the collation process for the Ablekuma North Constituency parliamentary election results. However, we require the protection of the police to enable us to complete the collation process.
Right.
And declare the parliamentary results for the Ablekuma North constituency. You also remember that on the 29th or so, it was Friday, that they went to Parliament. He was asked questions specifically on whether there is a court action that is restraining the Electoral Commission from proceeding to collate and declare. They indicated that it was because of security issues. And they said that they are ready if the security is provided for them to collate the 3 polling stations. So these are consistency in terms of their reportage. They made a statement, this same statement they made for Domiko Abenya. We never did the rerun. I hope you can remember that. So, if you go and check on My Joy Online, 28th of December, you carried a news story of them conducting a rerun.
So if I hear you, they have said it, but you think that they're just saying it, they will not follow through.
I am saying that if you check My Joy Online, 28th of December, you are a place of record too. They indicated their ability to conduct a a rerun of some polling station or one polling station in Domiko Abenya. That never came on, but they went ahead and did a declaration.
Let's take to the Ablekuma North constituency.
The Electoral Commission's decision to do a rerun is bogus, and which we as a party will not accept it. The General Secretary will be doing a press conference tomorrow and will lay bare to the facts of the matter. These are legal matters, and I don't think that the Electoral Commission's decision can supersede the decision of the High Court.
This is still Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel Connect and Energy. It's time now for us to bring in poster Ben Efson. He's been around for a very, very long time and I've seen how these things play out. Uncle Ben, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, you've witnessed a lot of proceedings in terms of how the Electoral Commission goes about some of these. Did you receive this with a surprise, or you think it's normal?
I wasn't surprised. I knew that the EC will have a rerun on some of the polling stations because Parliament has started work and the area has not got a member of Parliament. So I wasn't too surprised.
But earlier we knew that there were only 3 polling stations, and in fact, I mean, recently when the EC Deputy Commissioner went to Parliament to brief them, we knew, and he made mention of the fact that where they could consider rerun is 3 polling stations. When we hear now that it's increased from 3 to the number they want to do, 19, is that normal?
Oh, I think that maybe if the MPP is against it, they should go to court. And I'm sure that will be settled in the courts. Why it has increased from 3 to 19.
So this doesn't look bad in how it is, right?
Please come again.
I'm asking that this doesn't look bad because from 3 to 19, it's okay that probably something came up and they've come to 19. It's okay that it happens, yeah?
Oh yes, it's okay. It's okay because I'm sure the EC will have genuine reasons and grounds for deciding to have it in 19 instead of the 3.
How do you expect the NPP? I mean, obviously, if you listen to them, they are not happy about it. You've said they could go to court, but I mean, is that the reaction you expect them to have, or they could probably go into discussions on this or prepare for the election?
Oh, I think that this is, a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm sure that if they take their time and consider it to have a rerun in the 19, I don't think it will change anything. Clearly, it wasn't like the 137 seat era. I mean, the NDC has a big majority in Parliament, so I'm sure when they come down, they will allow the rerun to go through, and then they plan towards the 2028 election.
I'm grateful to you, but to stay with me, let me bring in Abraham Amaliba. He is Director, Conflict Resolution of the NDC. Abraham, I mean, have you been informed, or what have you been told by the EC as to what informed the decision to move from just 3 polling stations to now have a rerun in 19 polling stations?
Well, I'm currently Goprodia attending a dialogue organized by State Council. The EC is here, represented by Dr. Bosman. He had called to inform the gathering of their decision to rerun the 19 polling stations. I think that in every conflict or dispute, there must be an end. And in my view, this is how the EC has decided to resolve the matter. You cannot continue to be in a conflict situation. Don't forget that in 2020, we had a situation where SAL was not represented. And I don't think we want to have a similar situation where another constituency is not represented. So I think if this is to ensure that we have all 276 MPs in Parliament, I think I'm all out for it.
Mm. But if you listen closely to the MPP, their rejection is premised on the fact that the High Court ordered the EC to go and finish coalition and declare the results. If the EC now goes to conduct these elections in 19 polling stations, isn't the EC then going contrary to the orders by the court?
When a court gives an order and you cannot meet the order, you go back to court and ask for a variation. I don't know whether the EC has done that, but if it is becoming difficult to do the collation because there are discrepancies, there are disagreements as to the figures, as to whether you have your pay sheet, you don't have your pay sheet, and the whole thing is muddied, what do you do? So I think that we need to move forward. We need to move forward so that we don't have a situation that we had on our hands when style was not represented. And so I may want to find out from the EC, and if they are about to do that, I don't know. But if they think that obeying the court order is not possible because the figures are not tallying, they are not available, then in deciding to do this, they may want to go back to court to vary the order.
And if they haven't done this, will you advise your party to partake in this exercise?
Well, currently, my party is not in court. They are not a subject matter of any dispute, and I'm not aware of that. And so it will be difficult to say the party should not take part in it.
But if they haven't done it, you would advise the EC not to go ahead?
No, I'm of the view that the EC have not seen, you are saying it, I have not seen the extent of the court order. If the extent includes don't engage in this exercise, then I would think so. But if it does not include such a prohibition, then I don't think that there's a problem at all.
But I guess that you are ready for the election in these 19 polling stations.
Well, my party would have to ensure that the processes are completed.
Now, the NPP says it will address the nation tomorrow. You've been around this game for quite a long time. What do you expect, the NPP to say at this presser, or what can you guess will be the attitude of the NPP when they meet the press tomorrow?
Fortunately, I don't need to guess because the Deputy General Secretary is here with me. And when Bosman Atare made that statement of the rerun, he got up and protested because the statement that we all see says that the parties have agreed. So the Deputy General Secretary, Haruna, was of the view that it is not true and that they have not agreed. And so in the coming days, or not too far from today, they would come up with a statement.
So you expect them to say they reject this decision as they've already started saying?
No, democracy is a choice. And the choice can be, and in Ghana, you are not even forced to go to the poll to vote. The choice can be, I will not participate. And that is their democratic right. But if the issue thinks that this dispute must come to an end, we must all play along. But it's a choice. Not to avail yourself to be elected is also a choice.
Okay. But doesn't it interest you that it moved from 3 polling stations to 19?
Interests me in one sense because I am not the EC.
Okay.
And I think the EC are the ones who are conducting the exercise. And it is at that stage in investigating the matter that they got these numbers. If 3 was being bandied around, what is telling us now is that the issue is more difficult than we saw. It's not more 3, but 19.
Okay. All right. I'm grateful to you, Abraham Amaliba, Esquire. He's Director of Conflict Resolution for the governing new, National Democratic Congress there. Mr. Ben Efson is still with us. So, we've been joined by on the lines by Haruna Mohammed. Haruna, the advice for you is that look at the bigger picture and probably see how you could win this, constituency or prepare for the next election. What do you say?
Kojo, it's not about abandoning whatever it is and look at the bigger picture. There is process in everything that we do. Following the decision of the court on the 4th of January, the Electoral Commission proceeded to conduct coalitions and declare for the respective affected constituencies. When we came to a stalemate with regard to the Ablekuma North constituency, the party actually wrote a letter to the commission on the 3rd of January. The Electoral Commission responded to us on the 11th of January, and they communicated clearly to us. And this was not to hurt. We did not attack them. We did not put machete on them or a gun. And they told us, and if you permit me, I will read a specific paragraph for you. As you may recall, 37 police stations results were outstanding for the completion of the coalition process before the High Court directive of 4th January 2025. Out of the outstanding 37 police stations, the Commission has collated 17, 13, and 4 polling stations results on 5th, 6th, and 8th January 2025, respectively. A total of 37 polling stations results have been collated since the High Court directive. Currently, 3 polling station results are outstanding for the completion of the coalition process. I will give you the last paragraph of their commitment. The Electoral Commission is...
I'll let you continue, but check that paragraph again. Did it say 37 polling stations have been collated?
Yeah, that they have collated 34 out of 37.
Okay. You can go on.
I will send you the letter. This is their response to us because we don't want that particular mischief or to play any propaganda. We are a political party. We are a conservative party, a center-right political party. We believe in record, and that is why we think that the right thing must be done. Instead, the Electoral Commission is ready for the completion of the coalition process for the Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary election results. However, we require the protection of the police to enable us complete the coalition process and declare the parliamentary election results for the Ablekuma North constituency.
Will you go to court to stop this, or will you not participate in the process?
You see, Kojo, you will remember that the same commission appeared before Parliament. Parliament is a place of record. They were asked these specific questions. In fact, the Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Habib, asked the question on the floor of Parliament when they did their report narrating that they are actually left with 3 polling stations. That is what the Electoral Commission said.
Well, okay, so I'm asking, is the MPP going to court or will you not partake in the process?
As we stand, we don't recognize any agreement that have said that we are going for a rerun because the MPP representative did not agree on anything. There was no such agreement.
So you will not partake in the rerun?
We will tell you so tomorrow when the General Secretary is addressing the press conference.
I'm grateful to you. Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. And that has been Top Story for you, brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies. Up next is Newsnight. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to News Night. This news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Coming up tonight, Minority on Parliament's Economy Committee questions funding source for 24-hour plus economy policy amid tax exemption concerns for participating companies.
So if you're struggling to now raise some money to run a model, it tells you there's a problem.
We bring you detailed analysis of the thematic areas under the policy. Also coming up tonight, Gold Board dismantles illegal gold syndicate involving 10 Chinese nationals in Asankragua just 48 hours after a new law banned foreign gold trading, with government vowing to prosecute, not deport offenders.
We're hiding somewhere in Asankragua in the western region. We're hiding in a private residence, what they call casino cars. So what they do is that they convert the money into casino cars.
We've got details as Gold Board reveals it has carried out 17 busts since the new law took effect, confiscating over 34 million Ghana cedis worth of gold, cash and other items.
The total weight, gross weight of gold that has been seized is in excess of 12 kg. 1 kilogram of gold is more than 1 million cedis. So you're talking about in excess of 12 million Ghana cedis in gold.
Coming up in business.
Mixed price reviews of the pumps at some oil marketing firms reduce petrol price and hike that of diesel.
And in sports, former Black Stars assistant coach Gigi Dramani backs Kamaldeen Suleiman to excel in the Serie A following his move to Atalanta.
And a bit later, we'll tell you the story of a 10-year-old boy who studies in traffic while his mother hawks sachet water, all to become a soldier and change her life.
4 + 1 is 5. And I have seen is. What do you want to become? Soldier. A soldier.
Yeah, Tata in a cram.
And then besides when I'm
My name is Kenneth, Gyasi. We've got the latest of these and many other stories coming up in the next 1 hour. Don't go anywhere.
Small money day, big money day, where too much money day. Telecel too much money promo drop. If you dial *500#, then join them. For the Telecel too much money promo inside, you will win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points where they make you win. Make you dial *500# or go the Telecel Play up top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel too much money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA where they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me die now my God with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Do you ever wonder how your car's engine is doing as you drive?
Not often.
Does it feel confident and protected, or is it tired and struggling?
I have a busy schedule, so I leave matters of my engine to Shell V-Power. With Shell V-Power, you can feel confident because it is the best ever fuel designed for performance and efficiency. Shell V-Power removes performance-robbing deposits, so you can feel protected.
Fill up with Shell V-Power at a Shell service station near you. Feel confidence, feel protection, and feel performance over and over again with Shell V-Power. Fuel the feeling with Shell V-Power. Go well.
Welcome to the program. Let's begin from Parliament, where members of the Parliament's Committee on Economy from the minority side have raised concerns about the funding source for the government's 24-hour plus economy policy. Well, specifically, they flagged potential issues with proposed tax exemptions for participating companies. The lawmakers want clarity on how these exemptions might impact the national budget and whether the benefits of the policy will outweigh the costs. Well, this scrutiny comes as the government prepares to implement the policy aimed at boosting economic growth and development. Well, speaking at the official launch held at the Accra International Conference Center earlier today, President John Mahama said that the Volta Economic Corridor will serve as the anchor of the 24-hour plus project, driving industrial and agro-processing activities around the clock.
And now, so what is the famous Volta Economic Corridor we're talking about? That is our flagship anchor. While the 24-hour plus program is national in scope, our flagship intervention is the Volta Economic Corridor, a transformational effort to unlock the economic and environmental potential of the Volta Lake and its surrounding lands. Ladies and gentlemen, our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, envisioned the Volta project at Akosombo not only as a source of power to power Ghana's industrial sector, he also saw it as an integrated project that will provide agribusiness, it will provide lands for agriculture, irrigation. Unfortunately, that aspect of his vision have been lost. Today, we're recreating Kwame Nkrumah's dream. Today, Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's dream comes alive again. We will irrigate over 2 million hectares of land for intensive agriculture under Grow 24. We will establish agro-industrial parks for textiles, pharmaceuticals, and food processing under Make 24. We will develop tourism clusters along the lake under Show 24. We will turn the lake into a central transport corridor that connects the north to the south and the east to the west under Connect 24. And so, ladies and gentlemen, imagine a future where fresh fruits and vegetables from Tamale are air freighted daily to Europe and other destinations. Imagine aquaculture along the lake, the Volta Lake, that sustains jobs and provides nutrition, and ports on the Volta Lake that reduce our transportation costs by up to 80%. This is how we unlock the full value of inland Ghana and reconnect with our Sahelian neighbors. The finance and implementation institutional frameworks for 24-hour plus. The private sector will lead the 24-hour plus program. Government will facilitate and not dominate.
So that right there is President John Mahama during the launch of the 24-hour economy policy. Well, the special advisor on the initiative, Gusitano, says his outfit is collaborating with the Ministry of Finance as authorities are finalizing a 24-hour plus incentive package aimed at attracting investors.
Secondly, we have presented our 24-hour plus incentives package along with its impact assessment report to the Ministry of Finance for final review and adoption. Our proposals to the Minister of Finance Minister aim to simplify incentives and eliminate unnecessary bureaucratic discretion, thereby discouraging arbitrariness.
But the Deputy Ranking Member in Parliament's Select Committee on Economy and Development, Chenebua Kodia Fokuo, says such a move signals the funding challenges and Parliament will scrutinize the policy when laid before the House.
If something is not an issue, then you don't even talk about it. If there was an unlimited amount of money, then we won't even debate it here. Whatever you are going to use, debating. Please, let me, whatever you are going to use,
let's hear him.
Whatever you are going to use to run this program is not from somebody's pocket. This is money for the country. This is budget approved by, that has to be approved or approved by, by Parliament. If private people are going to come in, that is where I'm coming to, that a model that makes sense, private people on their own will jump on board. If they realize that there's demand for it, effective demand for this program, that they are going to produce more, i.e. producing around the clock, and there are off-takers, why not? Funding would not be a problem. So if we start talking about funding, if we realize that funding will be, one of the issues, then it tells you we have to ask ourselves the questions that I started with again. But it's telling me there's no funding problem. But I'm coming. Whatever that we are going to use from the government side If it's not already approved in the March budget, it's going to come. And Parliament will scrutinize it.
Fantastic.
So whatever we're doing, it should make economic sense.
Correct.
He's talking about patient capital. Okay, think about it. You're looking for some money that will be there for years. Use it. Investors, again, I'm using the same word. Investors are rational. They don't just go throwing their monies. And in Ghana here, the commercial banks, people say, oh, they lend for short term. Yes, they are commercial banks. If you're placing your money with them, how long do you place with them? You're placing with them for 91 days, 180 days, maximum some 1 year. And you want them to lend it to you for whatever years. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't make sense.
So that is Chinebua Kodia Fokuo, who is the Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Select Committee on Economy and Development. Let's go onto the telephone lines and speak to our Presidential Affairs Correspondent Maxwell Akbagba, who covered the event for us today. Maxwell, tell us a bit about the President's decision on to ensure the 24-hour Economy Secretariat becomes answerable to future presidents about its legislation and funding as well.
Yes, Ken. President Mahama stated that the Secretariat responsible for the 24-hour economy class will eventually evolve into an autonomous 24-hour plus authority that reports directly to the President. He stated that this structure is designed with the future of Ghana in mind. According to him, the authority will not report solely to the current President, that's him, but to successive presidents in the years ahead to ensure continuity. President Mahama also talked about government funding role in the rollout of the initiative, describing its financial contribution as catalytic rather than dominant, to use his own words. He said any government funding under the initiative will serve primarily as seed capital for the 24-hour plus authority and all infrastructure. He said most of the money that businesses will need for the 24-hour plus initiative will not come from the government. Instead, it will come from banks, development finance institutions, and blended financing. He stated that to deal with the persistent challenges such as limited access to capital, lack of collateral, and the short-term nature of most banking facilities, the 24-hour plus SAP program, which was listed today, Fund 24, is expected to bridge the gap for businesses, participating in the 24 hours.
Okay, thank you very much, Maxwell. That's our Presidential Affairs Correspondent. We will be exploring these issues more in depth with the Secretariat, but how much really will the program cost and how will it be funded? Well, Caleb Ziblim of Joy News Research Desk joins me in studio with details. Caleb, first, let's start with the cost and how it will be funded.
So the total cost of the program is projected at $4 billion. And out of that, the government is putting up $300 million as seed capital. So that covers just 8% of the total cost. The remaining 92%, or that's $3.7 billion, will be raised through public-private partnerships with the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund leading the mobilization. Also, there will be a 2.5% import levy on specific goods to be able to raise funds to support the program.
And we understand the 24-hour economy is not just about shifts. What more do we know about it?
So looking at the policy, we see that aside the various tax incentives, the policy also focuses on some structural change in Ghana's economy. The first includes the creation of agro-ecological parks along the Volta Basin, designed to increase food production and take advantage of the lake's natural resources. Farming clusters, including greenhouses, would also be developed around major cities. The idea is to grow food closer to where people live and reduce transport costs. A national irrigation system would also be built fed directly by the Volta Lake. The lake itself will also be developed into a transport route linking the northern and southern parts of the country. And across all regions, new industrial parks will be established. Each of them will run its own electricity grid, mainly powered by solar and biogas, so they are not reliant on the national grid.
Okay, let's get into the tax incentives bit. What more are we learning?
So to start with, the import duties will be scrapped entirely for key raw materials and manufacturing equipment needed by local industries. Firms involved in strategic agricultural production would also be exempt from corporate income tax. And more broadly, companies that run 2 shifts will receive a 25% corporate tax rebate, while those that run 3 shifts will get a 50% tax rebate.
Caleb Ziblim, thank you very much. But let's go back to the telephone lines once again and have a conversation on the back of this. I've been joined on the lines by Dr. Ishmael Ni Amano Dodu, who is the head of Innovation, Finance, Partnership and Markets at the 24-Hour Economy Secretariat. I've also been joined on the telephone lines by Fokuo Kodua Trinibua, who is the Deputy Ranking Member on Economy and the Development Committee. Let me start with you, Dr. Amano. Now that we know that there's going to be some tax breaks for participating businesses, how will the government compensate for the potential loss in tax revenue, and what alternative funding sources are being considered?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to Ghanaians, to His Excellency the President, and also members of Parliament, government machinery, industry, private sector, civil society, and everyone who has really contributed to structure the 25 economy program, the policy document that actually was unveiled today. It will be remiss of me not to mention all of them, because we went to all of them and spoke to them, including development partners and development financial institutions as well. Right. Now, back to the question that you actually asked. What is very important to recognize is that the 25 economy is actually going to be private sector driven. So the type of financing that we are looking at are financing that are innovative financing that would be drawn from the interests of private sectors, whether in debt or in blend financing, or types of innovative financing in the climate ecosystem, for example, climate finance, or SDG ecosystem, such as SDG bonds and so on, or with diaspora, looking at different ranges where the diaspora can actually leverage opportunities that we are creating through the 12 economy, through diaspora investment bond, or some type of instrument that are akin to impact financing, so impact investors who are very concerned about environmental and social governance realities of what they invest in. So we have a wide range of financing to be able to address the 24 economy.
What are they?
And we are talking to all of them. So we are looking at, for example, concessional loans that are drawn from impact investors, direct finance, development finance institutions, that are also development financing that are coming from development partners, multilaterals, bilaterals, that are looking at not just stimulating the economy, but actually addressing the issues of jobs, poverty reduction, women empowerment, and so on. Because a lot of these financing that we are requiring, whether it's in infrastructure or SME financing, most of them relate to the interests of development partners that address strategically the interests of the sustainable development goals. And so development partners do have grants that are very important. Now, these grants are extremely important in de-risking the investment that the private sector can come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Amano, I want to understand what specific criteria will determine which businesses, for example, qualify for tax breaks, and how government prevent possible abuse or favoritism in the selection process.
Right. So the businesses that will qualify for tax breaks are businesses that are in industrial parks, are investing directly in industrial parks, or they're investing directly in the agroecological parks, and these are going to be constructed either as special economic zones or special industrial zones that we would be able to manage. And so when you are in any of those parks, and they are going to be all around the 16 regions, and we want to make sure that they are embedded in the various clusters that we have created. Over time, we'll be able to give you the list of the clusters and the geospatial distribution of those clusters. Right. These clusters are related to a number of things. One, the type of crops or the value chain crops, the type of manufacturing processes that we are envisaging because of the value chain in terms of the raw material coming into the the industrial part.
Doctor, we understand.
So there are a lot of criteria that is going to go into that. Based on those, we'll be able to determine.
We understand that we are looking at a figure from between $4 billion for the 5-year period, and we understand that the government is going to provide between 300 to 400 million US dollars for it. Has government provided that money yet? And if it hasn't, where is that money going to come from?
Well, for such an undertaking, one of the things that we have to be very realistic about is that if a private sector or our development partners or strategic partners who are bringing money into this economic investment would bring them, they have to see that the government have a skin in the game. So the skin in the game is the viability fund, which constitutes about 8% of what we are looking for that the government will bring. And government have to bring it not once, over time.
Okay.
As we structure the financial engineering for one special purpose vehicle or the other, that relates to industrial park or the agroecological park.
So Dr. Mano, I want to understand, is government launching the policy without any seed funding?
No, the government is not launching a policy without any seed funding. But all the details of...
So how much? How much seed funding has the government started with?
Well, we have indicated the viability funds about 300 million, which was mentioned.
So how much is readily available? Because you did mention that it's going to come in tranches.
You recognize that the Secretariat has been functioning since January up to now. So the seed funding for the operational costs have been given by government, and all and the
how much
other
is that?
Things that relate to. I don't have the figures at my fingertips, but such an undertaking where we have developed the programs policy product, where we have actually made all these consultations with over 350 individuals, where we have been functioning with a wide range of experts that we have mobilized to be able to develop this cost of money.
Okay.
And also, one of the things that is very critical, the government providing the financing for us to do some of the feasibility studies in order to be able to quantify all the structure, the business proposals that the various agroecological parks and so on that we are looking at. All this costs money. So I won't be able to tell you how much it is, but in the scheme of things, when you look at the development project of this undertaking, you can imagine that it is quite a heavy financing that the government
Dr. Mano, so this means that there's going to be a lot of changes to some laws, income tax laws and all that. When are all these laws going to be changed? When are they going to be effected?
All right, so you are speaking to the larger issue, which is sequencing of how we implement. At the moment, the plethora of laws, incentives, policy initiatives that we need to bring to whether in Parliament or have to be used as executive instruments, so on, all of them have been put together, and we are working very closely with the Attorney General's office and other related institutions that deals with it, and very closely with the Minister of Finance, who have dedicated staff who are working with us to make sure that we conform to requirements that we have already in IMF, but at the same time requirements that relates to the future prediction of how the country will get out of where we are today.
Dr. Amano, kindly hold on for me. I'll come back to you, but let me go to Trinebua Kojo, who is the Deputy Ranking Member on the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. I believe you've been listening into the conversation which we're having with Dr. Ni Amano Dodu. Are you satisfied with the explanations he's been given?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And it looks like I'm having a feedback.
But we can hear you clearly.
You can hear me? Okay. So, thank you for having me. I express my appreciation and my regards to the listeners as well. So, I want to pick just a couple of points that he talked about. The first one being the fact that there could be tax incentives to those that will venture into this program. Okay, we need to be really careful here. If you're going to offer tax incentive, once you have an incentive, people are, without any prejudice, people are likely to abuse wherever there's something in quote free. Okay, if you are going to give some incentives, you need to be careful. If incentives are going to be advanced, then entities or companies would have to prove that indeed they've exhausted their daytime or daylight capacities to produce. Okay, if you're telling us you're going to produce more rice, for this country to benefit from, to replace, importation of rice, then you have to really justify that, yes, the daytime that is available to you, you've really exhausted your production capacity for you to be looking for, tax incentives. Okay, so that is key. Otherwise, everyone will jump that, I'm going to produce during the odd hours, i.e., during the night hours. So I need some tax incentives, and people would abuse it. So you have to really prove that you've exhausted your daytime capacity. And I find that a bit interesting that we're saying all this that we are talking about, people in Ghana or businesses in Ghana, they've worked so hard that they've exhausted their daytime capacity to produce. So we have to shift to the night. And there's demand ready for, the goods and services that we are going to produce. Okay. He talked about financing as well.
Mm.
And financing, yes. He said that they were going to talk to development finance institutions, commercial banks, and so on and so forth. Look, we need to be realistic here. Whether you go to development finance institutions or whatever finance house, it's one thing that is going to be coming out, and that is whether the model is workable or not. Okay, these institutions are profit making. They are businesses. They are not going to give you grants. So if they are not going to give you grants and they are going to give you loans, which they expect you to pay back, then you have to prove beyond doubt that you are going to generate cash flows that are sustainable, cash flows that will be able to repay whatever that they give you with whatever interest that they add on.
Right.
Okay. So financing big. I heard him that some key fund has been set aside, but I said this earlier on during the day that this is taxpayers' money. Whatever that is, going to be earmarked for this program would have to be scrutinized by
Mr. Foucault, what do you see as the biggest risks of this policy, particularly regarding its funding model that he has been explaining, and also the tax breaks for businesses?
Yeah, I think I made the first point about the tax breaks. That for an entity to benefit from such tax breaks, okay, that entity must be able to prove beyond any doubt that it has exhausted its daytime production capacity. Otherwise, companies will just jump that, look, I'm producing XYZ during night hours, so I'm entitled to some tax rebate. Give it to me. Okay? But we need to be sure. We need to check. It should be a condition that before you even qualify for such tax holidays or tax rebates, that you have exhausted your production capacity for the daytime. That is one point. Okay.
Okay.
The other one on the financing is that the government, whatever seed fund that is put into this, I mean, no problem, but we will scrutinize to be sure that really it's going to be put to, I mean, to the right use, and then to the private sector. Okay. Private funding, irrespective of whichever finance house that entities might approach to support this program, whether development banks or commercial banks or whichever finance house.
Okay, thank you very much. That is Kojo Chenebua-Foku, who is the Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Economy and Development Committee. And earlier you heard Dr. Ishmael Ni Amano Diodu, who is the Head of Innovation, Finance, Partnership and Markets at the 24-Hour Economy Secretariat. Thank you very much, gentlemen. But let me bring in the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa. Seth, it appears that there's been a lot of consultations before this policy was finally launched or formally launched. Is the business community ready for this, the 24-hour economy?
Thank you very much, Ivan. Yes, indeed, we are excited about it. Initially, when the 24-hour policy concept was mentioned, we were not too clear what was going to happen. Until later on, we had the opportunity of engaging particularly Mr. Bustando and the team at our council retreat, and then they presented a detailed arrangement they had in mind in implementing the 24-hour economy. And it resonated quite well with us because for us, the emphasis
we're getting some poor feedback from that particular interview with Seth Chum Akwabwa, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Ghana Industries. But let's now bring you what is happening in the world of business. And George Wiafe is here with the latest. George, what's up?
Well, coming up in inflation, that is in business, a significant drop in prices of some food items helped push June inflation to 13.7%, getting it closer to government's end-of-year target. And also we'll be getting you more on other stories when it comes to what government is saying, what they're going to do, as well as mixed price reviews at the pumps at some oil marketing firms, reduce fuel prices, but hike that of diesel. The business news on Newsnights is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, Center Stanks and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super-fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.ga or your My MTN app to sign up today. Everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom
Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Tema near Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Center Point Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
M&C Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302-551-917 or 0302-551-918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Cavity protection. This advert is FDA approved.
Every mosquito study run away. Oh, come on, tum preko. Sasso, me se come tum preko. Oh, come on, tum preko. Sasso, come tum preko. Nani shamne die demonstronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
Now, the significant drop in prices of some food items pushed the June inflation to its lowest since December 2021. Now, that's according to data released by the Ghana Statistical Service in Accra today. Isaac Gatasenyako has the rest of the story.
This is the sixth consecutive decline in inflation for this year and the lowest since December 2021. According to data released by the Ghana Statistical Service, the decline was influenced by a significant slowdown in the general price levels of foodstuffs and other items. While food inflation dropped to 16.3% from the 22.8% recorded in May, non-food inflation dropped to 11.4%. On reducing imported inflation, Dr. Idrisu charged businesses to take strategic measures which will reduce exposure to global economic shocks. The Upper West region recorded the highest inflation of 32.3%, largely caused by food inflation and utilities, whereas the Bono region recorded the lowest of 8.4%. On the future outlook of inflation for the rest of the year, the government statistician called for monetary and fiscal consolidation to support the gains achieved so far.
Sustainability of prices is extremely important, and the government has a big role to play in ensuring that these prices are sustained.
And that is a business tech report put together by Isaac Tase Inyako. Let's now get on to Zoom and speak to an economist, Dr. Tio Champon. Doc, thank you so much for joining us on News 9. We do some analysis on the inflation numbers. For you, let me first ask you, Doc, were you surprised about the numbers as reported by the Ghana Statistical Service?
Yeah, good evening, George, and to our listeners. I think, yes, the quantum of the decline is quite big, and so in that sense, it's a bit of a surprise. Also, of course, given what had happened a few weeks ago with the Iran and Israel conflict, and sort of the expectation that there could have been some sort of big push through in terms of that prices on the local market from the imported inflation side. Nevertheless, of course, oil prices now have largely gone back to levels that we had seen pre the war, but the this is quite big, especially on the food inflation component, and I think that indicates to me that we can also even see further declines, particularly in the next 2 months as we go into the bumper season, where there's going to be quite a lot of food, and many of our towns and cities will be having their festivals around that period. So overall, I think it's a very positive development, and it does, show that the economic turnaround is being sustained. And like the government statistician said, how to consolidate this comes down to what we do on the monetary and then on the fiscal side in terms of consolidation.
Doc, what would you also advise government to do to sustain this good run?
So I think the first thing, even before the advice, then is what the central bank also does when it comes to inflation expectation, and then how that fits into the monetary policy rate. Some are already calling for some cut, maybe probably about 100 basis points to sort of anchor the real turnaround within the economy. But I think it's just really being more conservative in terms of what the bank is doing to mopping up excess liquidity within the system. And then on the fiscal side, it's just going on with what the authorities are doing at the moment with reining in on spending, implementing the tight expenditure controls that are already being done, and making sure that spending is being passed through the GIFME system. And I think for many other observers, what happens latter part of next month when the finance minister comes to parliament with the mid-year budget, and the half-year fiscal performance would also be indicative of what we should expect for the remaining 6 months of the year.
As you wrap up on this interview, in a minute, government is looking at ending the year at 11.9% when it comes to the inflation target. Is this achievable?
Oh, it's certainly possible with the rate that we're going, but there's a big if in all of this. None of us are magicians, in the sense that if we see big escalation on the global front, on the external front, for sure, then that hits quite strongly on the non-food component of the inflation basket. But with what we're seeing currently, all things being equal, very likely that we may actually end the year close, even below that target that we are looking for. And that would have actually been quite a major achievement, given that we are still under the IMF program, and one of the conditionalities, right, is meeting that inflation target. And for a very long time, for as long as I can recall, we have not been anywhere close to a single-digit inflation number in probably the last 3-4 years. I have to check the numbers, but anything that is brings prices or the rate of price increment down, that is good. The biggest concern people, of course, have is whether or not this cascades to ordinary men and women in the street. So some items in the basket are still sort of going up, and people feel that traders could do more by passing some of the savings on to consumers.
Dr. Champon is an economist, and thank you so much for that education and insight in the inflation numbers and your views in terms of going forward. To other stories, and there have been mixed price views of the pumps when it comes to prices of petroleum products. Whilst petrol has been reduced by some oil marketing firms, all the other companies have also actually increased the price of diesel at the pumps. There is more in this report.
Oil marketing firm Kojo took the lead this morning, selling a litre of petrol at 12 cedis, 7 pesos. VAT of diesel, however, has been increased to 13 cedis, 20 pesos per litre. Also, another major player, Shell, has increased the price of diesel and petrol. This increase by some of the major oil marketing firms have brought to an end a consecutive decline in prices of petroleum products since February this year. But some industry persons have argued that we might be seeing an end to those declines experienced over the past month earlier this year.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies says that is Dr. Revisonopon says it might be early days yet to assess the impact of the proposed levy on prices of petroleum products in 2 weeks' time and how things would look like at the pumps.
The same position we took from the day this new levy came to being. And we had all the promise around there will be no increase, I believe by next week, Friday or Saturday, we should be able to tell the impact on the pump price. Obviously, the chamber will give you the prices without and the prices with so that we see the impact on that. But as it stands, it's too early to say that. I mean, all that I can tell that there's an additional 1 cedi tax on the pump price, whatever to be. The position of COMAC on the fuel levy, obviously, if crude oil price go on high international market, we saw it coming. They announced, the government announced an adjournment on the implementation date by themselves. At least it means that they understand the impacts of.
Dr. Revisonopon is Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has assured that it is on course to conclude all work on the proposed value-added tax reforms that will be introduced by September this year. Commissioner of Domestic Revenue at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Dr. Edward Apintin-Jamra, has been speaking to Joy Business after a stakeholder engagement with some traders here in Accra.
We are expected to complete the drafting by September. So we complete the engagement within the next 2 weeks. We'll start doing the draft. When we are done with the draft, we'll come back again, engage stakeholders for them to go through and see what is coming, what is in there, their input that have been considered. Those that we are not able to take on board, will provide explanations to them and come up with a document that will be acceptable to Ghanaians.
Edward Apintin-Jamra is Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority in charge of domestic revenue. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Yes, and George, in sports, well, the biggest news for Ghanaian player Kamaldeen Suleiman is that he has completed a permanent switch to Serie A outfit Atalanta, with the Italian side reportedly paying around £18 million for the Ghanaian winger. We understand that Southampton will receive an initial $15 million as part of the deal, with a 23-year-old signing a 4-year contract that runs until 2029. Remember that Kamaldeen Suleiman joined Southampton in some 2 seasons ago, 2.5 years ago, but failed to impress largely due to injuries. He only managed some 74 appearances, scoring 4 goals and registering 7 assists. Well, despite the challenging time at Southampton, his former trainer, who is now the head coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, Didi Dramani, is backing the young player to succeed in Italy.
He's very tactical, with all the elements, both the phases, defensive and offensive, and he will be better in that one. I'm very, very positive.
You think his pace gives him an advantage there?
Speed is a huge component when it comes to talent. When you go to look for players and someone cannot pass the ball well and he can run very fast, take him and then give him football, he will learn how to pass the ball.
Right.
Yes, he will learn how to pass the ball. Speed is something that we train players on. But if the person has it already, and it's genetic, so once you have that muscle group, you are favored.
So you think he will excel in Italy?
Yeah, he will. He's very young. I think he's a 2002.
You're right. Yeah,
he's very young.
As Coach Didi Dramani there speaking on Kamaldeen's move to Atalanta, and we're all hoping that he goes there to do really well. Ken.
I wish the 23-year-old all the best.
Good. You know, he started from a right to dream, went to Norgeland in Denmark, then went to Stade Rennais in France, to Southampton in England, and now Atalanta.
Of course.
He just needs some stability and show the world what he's capable of doing. He's a very good player. Very good player. On Sunday, we're building up to the President Cup, Kotoko and Hatofoka in action, and not sure where you're going to stand on that, but hopefully we get to talk. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So.
Thank you very much, Musbah, for bringing us the latest in sports. So a few of your messages you've been sending to us. This is from Musa Abatua in Aswasi in Kumasi. He says, we must all come together to support the government in raising the $4 billion needed to implement the 24-hour economic policy. This is from Nana Akuyamwa Boatin in Ablekuma Central. He says the Electoral Commission's decision to rerun 19 polling stations when indeed it was just 3 polling stations, which they have in many instances said they will continue with the collation of the results, is simply shocking. And this one says the two parties must keep quiet and allow a rerun of the Ablekuma North election by the EC. They must give us a break. Those are a few of your messages you have been sending to us. Now, he wants to be a soldier, and he's not letting the streets slow him down. While his mother hawks sachet water in East Legon traffic at night, 10-year-old Samuel turns her ice chest into a desk and studies under car lights. He wants to become successful one day so he can wipe the sweat off his mother's face. Emefadati has more.
On this busy streets of East Legon, dreams do not wait for perfect conditions. They fight to survive.
Thank you. 4+1, 5. And I have
on this busy street, 10-year-old Samuel is chasing his dream to serve his country as a soldier. His study table, the mother's ice chest, and the study room, this pavement. His study lamp, the bright lights from passing vehicles.
My name is Samuel Opong.
And how old are you?
10 years.
You're 10 years. Okay, what class are you?
Class 4.
What do you do here?
Do my homework.
He comes here after school. By the time we get home, he will be asleep. I always make sure he does his homework so that when we get home, he just takes his bath and goes to bed.
By midday through to evening, the uniform changes. Now, she's a hawker navigating impatient drivers and scorching heat. All for one reason, Samuel.
Sometimes selling water is really slow and it's tough. I earn 40 to 50 cedis in profit daily. My aim is to get a shop of my own so I can sell there and not lose my handiwork.
His books are never far from his hands. That gives him joy. His dream? Becoming a military officer.
What do you want to become?
Soldier.
A soldier?
On these streets, hope is not a luxury. It's survival. Just like Samuel and Abigail, many hawkers and their children dream beyond the traffic and beyond the struggles. And with every page Samuel turns, he moves closer to making his dream a reality.
All the best to young Samuel. Now, as erratic weather and shrinking rainfall hit farmers hard, scientists are pushing for intercropping as a lifeline. The practice, which is mixing cereal crops with nitrogen-fixing plants like pigeon pea, boosts soil health, improves yields, and shields farms from climate shocks. It's a climate-smart solution in the face of worsening food insecurity. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has more in today's episode of Climate Focus.
In the last farming season, Ghana witnessed yet another unprecedented long dry spell, destroying nearly 1 million acres of land. Every year we get beautiful harvests, but this year hasn't been good. It rains heavily during June, July, but not this year. The plants have failed to grow. Farmers in Ijua, one of Ghana's food baskets, are reeling under the impact of climate change.
It's expensive preparing the land. In the end, if you don't get anything, it hurts.
Scientists from the Research Institute are exposing them to a climate-smart farming practice of intercropping cereals and legumes. On a parcel of land, maize, a major staple grown by the farmers here, have been cultivated together with a leguminous shrub, pigeon pea. This sustainable farming practice enhances resilience to climate variability. Dr. Eric Owusu-Dankwa is an agronomist.
Because it's a fast-growing tree, one of the problems of the gases which is causing climate change is carbon. This is able to tap carbon from the atmosphere into its tissues. So it's able to lock it and is able to reduce it, and that is good for climate change mitigation.
The farming practice is part of innovations adopted under diversification pathways in Africa through bio-based and circular agricultural innovations, Divagri project. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
And from chart-topping lyrics to academic headlines, Tuobodom is back in the spotlight, but this time it's not because of a viral song. In a stunning twist at the 2025 Bono East NSMQ regional qualifiers, they knocked out much-touted regional kings, Kintampo SHS, booking a second straight ticket to the national stage and rewriting the town's narrative from meme to momentum. Before we go on the phone and engage with our reporters for update from today's regional qualifiers, listen to some of the reactions from today's contest.
People saw the pairing with Kintampo Senior High. They were like, hey, Tuobodom, what and whatever. And I believe in something. It is written that God brings down the proud and raise the humble. So we are moving slowly and humble. And the schools out there, we are moving slowly, and by God's grace,
which schools are the proud ones? Specific ones?
I can't really mention any name now.
Went through the social media, people are saying Kintampo. We got a little bit scared. The Almighty Kings.
The Almighty Kings. So yes, they have defeated the Almighty Kings of Bono East Kintampo Senior High School by just 3 points.
From first school, I have noticed that they learn hard and then they took first in every competition they go. That's why.
So you want your school to ship them?
Yeah, we will ship them. They should prepare and wait for us. At stake, we are coming over there.
Let's get onto the telephone lines now and speak to my colleagues Collins Frimpong, who is in the Bono region for us, and Adobia Asare, who is also in the Western region. Let's start with you, Collins. Let's start with Adobia, who is in the Western region. Adobia, tell us how the day unfolded in the Western region.
Well, today, Ken, and the Western region, only 4 schools contended with each other because actually the Western regional schools are done. So the schools which did the quiz today are from Western North, Viviani, SFCS, Draboso, Feshi, and St. Joseph. Now, after round 3, Draboso was leading and things looked very promising for them. But things took a very sharp turn in round 4 when St. Joseph's SFCS beat them with just 4 points and then made it past the regional qualifier. So they'll be battling for the championship title tomorrow with 6 other schools which won in previous days.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to Collins Frimpong in the Bono region, where Tuobodom SHS have finally booked their place to the next stage of the competition. Collins, when that famous song came, were you around by then?
But I've been listening to yourself due to the competition which happened today.
Tiobodom defeating Kintampo, which is something nobody was expecting. They beat them with 3 solid points. And interesting contest that happened today was Our Lady of Mount Carmel SHS. They were really on the Mount Carmel today. They secured 67 points to book a final, the regional finals and also the national championship. We had SHS for the national championship and also had a lot today happening.
Okay, thank you very much, Collins Frimpong and Adobia Asare on the beat for us for the NSMQ regional qualifiers. And that's how we end Newsnight tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. You can get more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Have a good evening.